The Leaning Tower of Pisa, known worldwide for its iconic tilt, is an architectural wonder that has defied gravity for more than 800 years. Its lean, however, was never intentional and resulted from several engineering and environmental factors that affected its construction from the very beginning. The story of the Leaning Tower begins in 1173 when the city of Pisa, flush with wealth from trade, decided to build a magnificent bell tower for its cathedral. The tower was designed to stand 57 meters, around 187 feet, high and was intended to be perfectly vertical. Construction started with enthusiasm, but as the builders reached the third floor in 1178, the ground beneath the tower began to shift. The reason? The soil was composed of soft, unstable clay, sand, and shells. This soft ground couldn't support the weight of the tower, causing the foundation to settle unevenly. This initial tilt occurred because one side of the tower sank into the ground more than the other, and the construction had to be halted soon after the problem was discovered. Interestingly, construction was paused not because of the engineering flaw, but due to external conflicts. Pisa became embroiled in wars with its neighbors, including Florence, Lucca, and Genoa. This delay, lasting almost a century, gave the underlying soil time to settle. Had construction continued immediately, the tower might have collapsed entirely. During this time, Pisa's political and economic climate allowed for a shift in focus away from the tower, which inadvertently became its saving grace. When construction resumed in 1272, engineers faced a significant problem: how to continue building a tower that had already begun to lean. They devised a plan to counteract the tilt by building the upper floors with one side taller than the other. This attempt at correction made the tower slightly curved, as the builders tried to shift its center of gravity to mitigate further tilting. Despite these efforts, the tower continued to lean, but the construction was completed in 1372, with the addition of a bell chamber at the top. The tower's lean gradually worsened over the centuries. By the 19th century, it was leaning more than 5 degrees or about 4.5 meters, 15 feet, from the vertical. Various efforts were made to stabilize it, but it wasn't until the 20th century that significant actions were taken to prevent its collapse. In the 1990s, after extensive study, engineers initiated a major project to stabilize the tower. The most successful of these methods involved removing soil from underneath the higher side and using counterweights and anchors to gradually straighten the structure. The project successfully reduced the lean from *5.5 degrees to about 3.97 degrees *, which, although still noticeable, ensured that the tower was safe for the foreseeable future. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Leaning Tower of Pisa is the incredible engineering foresight of its original builders, even though they couldn't have predicted the soil instability. The tower was built with what's known as a shallow foundation *, only about 3 meters deep, which was the standard for medieval construction. However, the soil under Pisa is a mix of softer alluvial material, which meant that the tower didn't have a solid base. The builders didn't have the modern understanding of soil mechanics, but they did their best with the knowledge and materials available to them. The Leaning Tower of Pisa's tilt has made it a global icon, drawing millions of tourists every year. But did you know that during its history, there was serious debate about whether it should be demolished? In fact, during its early years, critics wanted it gone, fearing it would collapse and become a hazard. Over time, however, public sentiment shifted. As the tower became more famous, especially in the 19th and 20th centuries, people began to see it not as a flawed structure but as a marvel of persistence and ingenuity. The tower also played a role in scientific history. Legend has it that the famous physicist Galileo Galilei, who was born in Pisa, conducted his experiments on gravity by dropping objects of different masses from the tower to demonstrate that their time of descent was independent of their mass. While the truth of this story is debated, it certainly adds to the rich lore surrounding the tower. In addition to its scientific intrigue, the Tower of Pisa is also a masterpiece of medieval engineering, combining elements of Romanesque architecture with innovative construction techniques. The base of the tower features intricately designed columns and arches that exemplify the architectural style of the period. These decorative features make the tower not just a structural wonder, but also an aesthetic one. Despite the flaws that led to its lean, the Leaning Tower of Pisa continues to stand as a symbol of resilience and adaptation. Engineers and architects from across the world have studied it extensively, learning from both the mistakes and the solutions used in its construction and preservation. Today, the tower leans at an angle of about 3.97 degrees, a significant improvement thanks to modern engineering efforts. This reduction in tilt has stabilized the tower, ensuring that it will stand for many more centuries to come. Beyond its physical presence, the Leaning Tower of Pisa represents something larger, a reminder that even in the face of unexpected challenges, human ingenuity and perseverance can turn a potential failure into an enduring success.